All right. It's 32 games, 36 hours, 2 days. I would say like six upsets, seven.
Yeah, your usual.
Yeah. A lot of basketball. Too much? No, but a lot. Uh, Jelly Walker. Shouldn't have believed that. Told everyone about Michigan. I told everyone Ohio State. Buckeyes to the damn Final Four. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. We're only talking about the first round today. Ethan and Theo with me again, as always. It's what we do in March. All right. So let's just, okay, before I go like too much further, I'm just watching Sports Center. Why is Russell Wilson at a Stanford game? He didn't even go there. Anyways,
Is that a Stanford game?
yeah,
The women's basketball side?
yeah.
Dude probably has something going back to that.
No explanation here. I don't know. He watched last year's Broncos tape 6 or 7 times on his vacation the entire
Yeah,
season.
yeah, okay, dude. You got
Yeah.
Sierra and three kids, and you're like, oh no, let me watch, Drew Lock to Jerry Judy week 4.
When they change their head coach and are going to have a completely different offense, it was pointless. Anyway, wrong sport.
All right. We're gonna actually talk about the games, but I want to talk about what's like really important right now. Why can Wisconsin play in Wisconsin and no other team is allowed to do that? I understand the way that like the it says like hosted by or whatever, and then some random school, but the random school, like all of their employees work at, like PPG Paints Arena. But why does Wisconsin get to play a FISA form?
It doesn't make any sense. Like watching the game today, so much energy. They had I'm kind of convinced that without that, Wisconsin would have lost today because they were able to play into that so well, and that really carried their defense. It felt like.
That's the variable we added to it. We did not have that last year. They were in the bubble at Indianapolis. We did not have fans. We did not have different sites, and it really added a lot to it. And I think it's been influencing multiple games. You talk about the Wisconsin game with fans in the building. Well, Seton Hall played out in San Diego across the country tonight, 10 o'clock start time, and put out one of the flattest performances you'll ever see. Like lost by 30 points in an 8-9 game. So I think it's that element is back, and it just adds another crazy element to this crazy tournament we have.
And was it the UAB Houston game? What was it? Houston. It was like a 9 o'clock tip, and they took their shoot around at 10 a.m.
They,
It
I
was
mean,
one
they
of them.
came they came out and hit every shot to start that game. So
I don't
whatever
know.
they did
Some
was
team
smart.
like had to do that, and that was wild.
Yeah, Colorado State had those travel issues before the game. Do you guys see that?
Yeah, that okay. That I'm glad you brought that up because I kind of forgot about that. But that's just so unfortunately ironic. Like everybody's like, oh, they should have to like force Michigan to fire Juwan Howard, and then like Colorado State can't get their booked or planes booked to play Michigan. All right, so
Then Michigan goes out and wins, and probably I have a weird feeling that they're going to beat Tennessee, but we'll get into that later.
I mean, where do we even start? Someone just say something.
St. Peter's Peacocks, MAC representatives. That was awesome. Got some crazy stats out of that, like one of the craziest upsets ever. St. Peter's entire athletic budget is $7.5 million. John Calipari received $8 million from Kentucky this year. So that's one thing. If you just
And
look at
Kentucky
compare,
also wouldn't buy St. Peter's like reserve tickets for today's game, which was funny.
and then it was what like I think Kentucky's third assistant coach is paid 3 times what Shaheen Holloway makes as St. Peter's head coach. Like just as far
Jeez.
as expenditures, like it was crazy. Like Kentucky's spending 13 times the amount of money,
Yeah.
and they lost. And maybe the best day ever to be a Murray State fan in history. They got to show up, watch Kentucky lose, and they got to watch their team win in what was the best basketball game of the day. Great day to be a Murray State racer. Shout out John Morant.
I just feel it's so weird. It just feels like every year, besides that one 2012 Kentucky Wildcat team, every year we're talking about a disappointing Kentucky team that failed to live up to expectations. But you had the 2014 run with Aaron Harrison. But besides that, it's just been dud after dud from Kentucky. And it's unless they have Cat or somebody, they just kind of fall short. And it's a little disappointing to see like another Calipari team just go down like this.
I'll say Calipari last year was made one of the worst seasons in Kentucky history. They missed the tournament, and he followed that up this year with maybe the worst loss in program history, losing to a 15 seed St. Peter's. So I know Cal has like 2 lifetime contracts, but that seat's getting a little hot. And I think the issue with these Kentucky teams is that they just never have multiple guys that can shoot the basketball. Like consistently, they have one player that can shoot threes, whether it's like Malik Monk, Tyler Hero. I mean, this year was an even worse version of that in Kellen Grady. But then like these guards like Ty Washington and Severe Wheeler, like they can drive and penetrate. But St. Peter's goes to this collapsing matchup zone, and Kentucky has one guy that can space the floor and hit a shot, and it costs them.
And for those of you watching or listening, the fact that Theo led off with St. Peter's, not only is it a personal disappointment, if you will, having his college knocked out by them, then a bracket buster on top of it. So just know that he's dedicated to this.
Yeah, it was a tough week. I decided, I'll take it on the chin. I'll take it on the chin for the good of the MAC conference.
Yeah, this year. All right, just because it's the first one I saw. Mexico State beating UConn in what company-wide seemed like a big blow. Just a bad showing from the Huskies.
Okay, I just gotta say, this was my favorite game of the week. This is easily my favorite game of the week. Watching Teddy Allen, a former Nebraska, I mean, he transferred out, but at the same time, I was just so excited to watch him play and play at such a high level. He went off 37 points. I think he went like 10 for 24 shooting or something like that. But the dude played out of his mind. And to watch him go out and beat the Huskies, while I did have them going far, I was so happy for him. He's such a great player and such a great guy. Teddy Allen is my. If you guys were here last year, I was high on Buddy Boeheim last year. This is my Buddy Boeheim this year. Teddy Allen. Watch out for him. He's going far.
All right. Here's a few frauds. Feel free to chime in if I missed one. Obviously, Kentucky. Iowa. Yeah.
Fran McCaffrey has never reached the Sweet 16. He's been coaching for a long time.
Colorado State.
Yeah.
Oh, Virginia Tech. Big one.
Steven, the whole Mountain West. They got 4 teams in the tournament this year. They went 0-4. They were all out by Thursday. And they all played winnable games too. Like they gave them a lot of respect. They gave them a 6 seed and 2 8s. So 3 games they could have won. They didn't win any of them. So I don't think we see the Mountain West get that respect again.
And I think biggest fraud of them all, none other than Team Chaplin's sister Jean, 102 years old, couldn't even beat a football school in a round of 64 game. I tried telling everybody, and, I didn't understand why, but, I got it right. And no need to thank me. We'll see you in New Orleans. All right.
They shot terrible during that game. They were like 27% from the floor. I don't know what happened, but they did not get it going at all during that.
Yeah, 41 points in March just isn't going to get done. I mean, I feel that Kentucky losing kind of boosts the madness, if you will. But other than that, I mean, none of the upsets I was really like, oh my God. I mean, New Mexico State, you could say, but
We talked about them though on the preview podcast. We all like New Mexico State a lot, so we weren't. I don't think any of us were shocked by that. They're a very good team.
UAB, I was shocked just because I couldn't believe that I picked them over Houston, especially after how much I liked Houston last year.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Oh no, I lied. Iowa. That was a big disappointment. I'm never picking those people in anything ever again.
Yeah, that was one of the places that one of the picks I was right on. I was right on very few, but I was on Richmond to win that game.
I honestly wasn't. I was kind of blinded by Iowa's late Big Ten run a little bit, where they went off in February and March and kind of took over. That kind of stung me a little bit, and now it bit me in the butt as this tournament started.
You know what got me about that run though is I was looking at who they beat, and it was like Northwestern, Rutgers, Indiana, and Purdue, and I was like, hold on, they struggled a lot with Indiana. Indiana's a 12 seed. Richmond's also a 12 seed. Like we're giving Iowa a lot of credit when we just saw them play down to a 12 seed. So I think that conference tournament run got a little overinflated.
100%.
I also think the Big Ten as a whole's very bloated, but that's just the personal opinion.
They did better this year than they did last year as far as making it to the second round.
Mhm. I
Last
think the
year,
Big 12 6-0 though. They're really
yeah,
flexing.
Big 12 is going up.
Yeah. All right. Another thing that surprised me, I don't know why. I just feel like nobody was really believing Memphis. Then they had a good win over Boise State. That one, I don't know if that surprised a lot of people or whatever.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
decently.
I thought Memphis coming in was a better team. I thought Boise State was a good team, and obviously after seeing how the Mountain West did this offseason, this tournament, first round, it's kind of easy to see that their record might have been a little bit bloated compared to the competition they played during the year.
Yeah, I think that was just the committee screwing up. Like the American didn't get enough respect. They only got two teams in, while the Mountain West got four. Well, we got to see the number one team in the Mountain West play the third place team in the American, and that third place American team took them to the woodshed. So little learning lesson for the committee there.
Alabama losing like that, that's a real disappointment.
Yeah, Quinterly getting hurt early on kind of took some of that juice out of that game for me.
Yeah,
Indiana, that too. I was like, oh my God, they did so good in the first four game, and then should have believed in, St. Mary's a little more.
did you guys watch the Illinois Chattanooga game late tonight?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
That
it was.
that was an interesting game. That was a really interesting game.
Yeah, Illinois looks real susceptible, and I took a look at the lines. I was kind of surprised. Like Houston's opening as a 5-point favorite against Illinois. I was not expecting to see that, but they're low on them.
I just really don't remember. I know that we talked about it, and I feel like it didn't happen, but we really, well, at least I wanted, but I feel like a lot of people wanted Illinois Houston last year, right?
Mm-hmm. They
Like
were
I
the
said, that
one
was
and
the
the two
matchup.
seed.
Like I remember saying, like, give that one to me. Okay. But we're gonna get it this year, which is good. And Kofi Coburn, I understand, Chattanooga may not have a guy to match up with him, and Houston probably does. But you can tell that if you don't get Kofi Coburn under control, he's going to just do whatever he wants.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he was a beast. He got Silvio De Sousa and those other bigs in the foul trouble early on, and that's how Illinois fought back into that game at a time where they could not make a shot at all.
Well, then Plummer started going off a little bit too during that stretch. He
Mm-hmm.
really stepped up when like Frazier and Curbelo couldn't really get anything going. Plummer kind of stepped up as that new face to really get the. I mean, it really wasn't much, but it was enough to get over the hump.
Yeah, Curbelo was making some questionable decisions though. I'm not sold on him as a lead guard on a team that's going to make a big tournament run supposedly.
USC Miami today. That was a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm. What do you think about the foul at the end?
I mean, you know,
Not a good call. Not a good call. I'm
that
a little
game.
biased because I have USC winning, but still, I didn't think that was a good call at all.
Yeah, I'm glad you said you had USC winning. So at halftime, Miami was up like what 7-8, something like that. Uh,
Mhm.
I was like, oh darn USC, blah blah blah. You know, come back in the second half, and I was like, oh, I have Miami winning. This is fine. Just keep it up. And okay, we know from Sunday that I am admittedly I didn't watch a lot of college, and especially not the Pac-12 because you know who the hell wants to find that wherever it is. But the fact that somebody on USC's last name is Dixon Water was just the best thing that ever happened to me. I don't know his first name. I hope it's like something that makes that even funnier. But they kept saying it. I was like, how are these guys not laughing? And then just seeing like the DIXON dash water, it was great.
It's what the tournament is for. Finding out about these guys.
I like was he somebody that you guys knew about before today?
Mm-mm.
Mm-mm.
I don't know. They kept talking about him. Maybe that was their way of coping with like not laughing, was just constantly saying it, so it wasn't funny to them.
Nelly Cummings on Colgate was another
Oh, yeah.
name today that I really appreciated.
That was the dude with like the big beard too, right? The big man.
No, it was the
No.
point guard.
Oh,
The one non-white on the floor for Colgate for most of the game.
oh, Carlos Correa to the Twins.
Carlos Correa is going to the Twins.
3 years, 105 million,
Oh,
with opt outs after this year and next year.
That's pretty shocking.
that's a big move for us. That's a big move for us. I like that a lot. I like that a lot. Yeah, to clear up the cap for from Donaldson.
What was the shoot? Just like there's so many games that we watched yesterday and today and tomorrow and the next day. And like it was 6 hours ago, like March Madness time is like an eternity. What was the guy's name on Miami that fouled out that had like 22? Dunn, something like that.
Oh God, I definitely should know this too.
Was it Wong?
Yeah,
Wong,
yeah.
Isaiah
He
Wong.
just like first half, second half, boom. They needed a spark. That was the guy that they
Yeah.
turned to.
Yeah,
And then he fouled out, and you would have thought it would have cost him, but you
yeah, he,
know,
sc- he
didn't.
scored like their first 10 points of the first half, and then like had another stretch like that in the second. But they found a way.
In USC too, what was the stat? It was like in the first half, they had a period that they went 3 minutes scoreless and then 4 minutes scoreless. And this was like with 7 minutes left. So in the first 12 minutes, they didn't score 7 of the minutes. And then it was still a 2 point game. That was crazy to me.
Mhm.
Well, then Miami, like they didn't score for like 4 minutes at the very beginning of the second half. They went on a scoreless streak that allowed USC to come back. And
Yeah. Both teams were futile, like in different ways. Though, like Miami hit 1 3-pointer all game, and USC committed 18 turnovers. But then, like USC shot 50% from three, and Miami committed 4 turnovers. So they were like awful in one way, good in another way, balanced out. We got to see a good game.
Kind of random, but I'm glad that the suits are optional for coaches because of COVID is still in effect, and I hope that stays intact forever. Sucks for Jay Wright because this dude probably has like $1 million worth of suits, especially at like some fancy Philadelphia school. But the money that he's saving, not needing to get like suits and stuff, he's definitely putting into hair products because that dude, if he got near a match or like an open flame, poof. I mean, that was the only real takeaway I took from that game. They destroyed whoever they played.
The fighting Blue Hens. Come on, put some respect on their name.
come on.
I have to even like, I don't remember it like that much of Delaware. Oh. Jameer Nelson Jr. didn't know he existed. That's pretty cool. Looks just like his dad.
Mm-hmm. Didn't play great today, but got Delaware into the tournament, so he'll be remembered forever.
Yeah. Theo, you said it before. Seton Hall having to go cross country, start at 10 o'clock. Losing by 27 to the Horned Frogs. Just not a great look.
Mm-hmm.
I have a friend of mine went to Seton Hall, so every year, that's like my buddy went there. I'm gonna pick them, and every single year they fucking lose. I can't stand it.
I had a friend he's big Seton Hall family. They're having a blue out in their basement tonight. And by like the 12 minute in the second half text, I got the fire Kevin Willard text. I was like, all right,
Oh,
this is where
something
this
blew
is
all right
going.
tonight in Seton Hall.
But I will say, I think I kind of like this next spot for TCU too against Arizona. And I'll tell you why. I think Arizona is kind of like Illinois to me last year. They're the number one seed, but without a lot of tournament experience. And because they didn't make the tournament the year before. So playing as a favorite with that pressure is going to be new to them. And TCU plays such good defense. I think they get a lead early on and get some pressure on Arizona. And I mean, we'll see how Arizona responds to it, but it's going to be a new situation for them to be in.
I like it, but I just don't know if I believe in TCU enough. Their defense is, like you said, rock solid, but I don't know. It's just not the same as like a Cameron Krutwig led team where you have that veteran experience and that veteran leadership to potentially pull off an upset like that.
Mm-hmm.
I could
Again,
I could definitely see like Houston if it's a Houston versus Arizona. I could definitely see Houston taking out Arizona in the Sweet 16, but that's down the line.
I just had that real like, uh-oh, panic moment. I totally forgot that I was recording. I thought that I wasn't. And I was like, oh man, I made these guys stay up till 2 a.m. just not even record it. But going off of that, again, not using this as an excuse. There's a lot of basketball. A lot of games were like kind of blowouts. Like I don't feel like talking about the number one seeds. They obviously destroyed the mid majors that barely made it in. So like we'll talk about that, talk about them enough. All right. I like a lot of the games coming up. Michigan State Duke probably is like one of the top ones everyone wants to watch. Like a lot, all of these games, I have a good interest in. Okay, Providence, Richmond, I don't. I'm not gonna lie. Murray State, St. Peter's, it'll be cool because like at least the 7 seed will make it. But like most of these games are going to be appointment television.
I got to be honest. I think Sunday's games look a little bit better than tomorrow's games
Oh, for sure.
or today's technically. Michigan versus Tennessee, I think might be the best game going on today. Maybe New Mexico State, Arkansas too, but
I just want to say this though, like people that are coming for the tournament. I know that Joey Hauser on Michigan State looked like one of the best players in the country today with 27 points. Don't be fooled. He was like a good prospect 2 years ago at Marquette. He transferred to Michigan State. This guy actually kind of sucks. Like he's been terrible for Michigan State. He averaged like 6.5 points a game this year. I know he looked really good today, dropping 27 points, and the people are going to talk about him going to this next game, and maybe he stays hot, but just don't be fooled. He has sucked and he has cost Michigan State games over the last 2 years.
Joey Hauser is one of the most overhyped prospects of like the past 5 years. I remember like vividly last year going into the year, and he was talked about so much as being the leader for Michigan State. He did absolutely nothing. But dropping now 27 in a big time against Davidson, which was a pretty well watched game. You're right, Theo. People are going to be overhyping him so much coming into Duke.
All right. I'm gonna get a little spicy here. First game at the top of the bracket. I am all out on Mark Few. I got Memphis winning later on today. That's probably the biggest upset I have remaining. I went pretty, by the book for the rest of it. But I'm curious, what the rest of you guys think. Oh, I lied. I also have Michigan beating Tennessee. That's out there too.
Yeah, so I like that TCU Arizona, and I don't know. I can't really find another one that I can really talk myself into.
I know you want to convert to the Buckeyes, Theo. I know you want it.
Villanova looked really good today.
So did Ohio State.
Ah,
I
they
think
looked
they just
good.
I think they just kind of a bad shooting night from Loyola Chicago. I think they kind of got lucky into that.
I don't know. I just feel like no one's believing in us.
It's true. A lot of people doubting the Big Ten, and might come out and shock a lot of people.
I kind of hope we don't get a lot of upsets though. Like love them for the first round. Now I kind of just want to see the best teams win so we can get the best games going down the stretch. I mean, I'll take a good story or two, but for the most part, I kind of want these 1 and 2 seed teams to win so we can see them play down the line and give us great games with the best players.
I'd like to see Purdue. I know we didn't really talk about them. I'd like to see Purdue. Jane Ivey that went off again, and that entire lineup is just so deadly, so built for the tournament. I would like to see them go far and potentially play Baylor in the Elite Eight. That'd be a fun matchup.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was so high on Purdue, and then I had them in the Final Four, maybe Elite Eight, and I somehow talked myself into Kentucky at the last minute.
Oh,
Listened a little. I'll never listen to Mark Titus again. That was like the
Oh,
last thing I
come
listened to
on.
before I made my last changes to the bracket, and like all the advice I took from him just steered me in the complete wrong direction.
This isn't his fault. I even said it on Sunday. I'm picking Ohio State because of him. Not because of him, but
He got me on a Kentucky. He got me on a Virginia Tech. He got me on the Iowa, and he got me on the Marquette. Like,
oh, that's a rough stack of
yeah,
teams.
it was. I mean, it was my fault for listening, but and having that be like the last thing that I listened to after like all the information that I took in.
also to be fair, a lot of like 2 or 3 of those schools do play on Fox a lot, and they're the ones that pay his bills. So I mean, it does make sense why he was very high on them.
Doesn't see too many SEC teams
Yeah,
in his network.
I'm
Hey,
trying to.
Steven, do you have Ohio State and also Michigan winning in the round of
I do.
32?
Oh, they would play then, right?
Whoa,
Do
that
I
would be
do?
a big matchup.
It
That would be a well-watched matchup. That would be probably a matchup of the Sweet 16 if that actually happened.
Could you imagine like Jawan Howard gets Michigan to the Elite Eight after everything that happened this year?
Oh, and I
What a
totally
ways to go,
forgot.
but
Quote of the tournament. I actually wrote this down at like 12:30. That's how good it was. Ohio State head coach Chris Holtman. It's a good old fashioned rock fight. What the hell does that mean? Like, I understand the premise of it, but why are you fighting with rocks, man, at any age?
you're
That was,
uncivilized. I don't know. It was a throwback reference.
yeah, but like, I mean, hey, no pressure, no diamonds. I get it. But that was just, I had to write that down because I knew I might forget it, but that was just a wild thing to hear.
So was Ohio State trying to win basketball games or rock fights?
Depends what mood Juwan Howard's in. Maybe a little both.
If you give me a rock fight bracket, I'll take Ohio State to the Final Four.
I don't know. Jawan Howard's pretty strong. That would be a tough matchup to play.
All right. So round of 32 basically covered all of that.
Oh, one more story that line that I do like. We kind of touched on it, but the Notre Dame beating Alabama finally in the postseason after a decade-long struggle against Alabama in football. In basketball, they reigned triumph over Alabama.
Mm-hmm. I bought into the LSU making a run without Will Wade. Like, thought that might be something that would happen. Ended up like they're getting technical fouls because they have 6 guys on the court. Like that
was an ugly
that didn't
game.
go my way.
That was an ugly game. Iowa State versus LSU was an ugly game through and through.
Mm-hmm. And now we get Iowa State, Wisconsin, which isn't going to be any better. I hated that little quadrant of teams. I knew we weren't going to get anything out of that.
So I did it last year. I'm gonna do it again this year. Not to toot my own horn, but in the company bracket challenge, first place with 240 points. I got most of my Sweet 16 still alive. Stupidly, or maybe geniusly, I do have a lot riding on that potential Ohio State Michigan Sweet 16 matchup. I mean, everybody's doing like pretty well. The lowest is 180, which isn't like terrible. That's beyond
Yeah.
respectable.
I think you also do need to look at like what the max total could be for each of these brackets. Like Steven, you're doing pretty good with 1,800 still left, but a lot of these brackets are still.
Yeah, like three of them don't have their eventual winner left. And like, if you pick the winner, you basically win the whole thing just because like you'll catch up a bunch of points.
Get 320 in the final round. That's a lot of points.
Yeah, Thea, I mean, you were very low until the end. So
Yeah, I got a little bit of a chance. I mean, I think my whole Elite Eight is still in. So, it could have been worse.
all right. So after what was it? After Sunday night, what's something that changed in your head that you wish you didn't change?
Gotta be Kentucky. I was flipping between Kentucky and Purdue in the Sweet 16. Went for Kentucky. Was gutted. Had them in the Final Four. Tough.
So I gotta go with South Dakota State. I kind of bit into that, per Providence is the luckiest team in college basketball narrative a little too much, and bit me hard. I had South Dakota State in my main bracket going to the Sweet 16, which looking back, probably not the best idea.
What if Providence is still the luckiest team though? Like I was thinking about this, like they get to play Richmond instead of Iowa. Like, what if this draw just sets up for them and like teams just keep getting upset and Providence keeps being lucky and they like the easiest road to the Final Four? I mean, I could see it.
They have Richmond this weekend. What if Creighton somehow pulls off the upset there, so they play Creighton in the Sweet 16? They could
Mhm.
seriously have a super easy road, though Kansas probably will roll over Creighton. But
I don't even remember where I am. I don't remember like what I was doing Sunday. So I'm gonna take the easy way out. Was there anything that we missed, gang?
I mean, surely, but am I gonna think of it right now at 2:16 Eastern? Probably not. Maybe in 20 minutes when I lay down and try to go to sleep and start reliving every loss over in my head again, I'll think of more things to get angry about. But for now, I'm all out.
just gotta say it was a good first 2 days of the tournament. Excited for the next two. Excited for the round of 32.
Yeah,
Mhm.
so if you're watching, listening, and this seems like a little lower energy than usual, basketball will do that to you. 2 days of said basketball will do that to you. Being 2 o'clock in the morning, yeah. Um, so yeah. I mean, I don't know. Maybe Sunday night, we'll have a little more. There'll be half as many, or was it half as many? Is that how you say it?
Yeah.
Half as many games?
Sunday night, we're gonna have a Sweet 16. Like it's crazy how fast this tournament moves. Cause like I already miss it being Thursday morning and the tournament out to start, and there's 64 teams in. Like we just cut in half, and 48 hours from now, there's going to be 16 teams left. Like that's it.
Yeah, and then it's also crazy. Like 48 hours from now, there'll be 16. But then, like, we still have to wait like 2 weeks for a champion. Like, I think about that, how quick and like how long it is too.
Mm-hmm.
The days where there's actually games go by so quickly, but then the time period in between those games goes by takes so long to get to those games.
Yeah. All right. Well, that was, little round one recap. We'll be back. Well, it'll come out Monday morning. Talking about round two, a little bit of Sweet 16. Yeah. Whenever you're watching this, get some sleep. Make sure to drink some water. Sure to move around. There is now going to be a little more downtime between games. Yeah. Anything else?
Don't forget your Buffalo Wild Wings. Don't forget those.
All right. I mean, I guess that's fair. All right. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you guys on the next one.